All right, we're going to talk about something that affects millions of people but is so often kept in the dark: pornography. Now, this isn't a lecture. I want you to think of this as just an honest, non-judgmental conversation and really a practical guide to help you understand the trap and, most importantly, how to find your way out.
Does this sound familiar? You know, that cycle where you swear this is it, this is the last time, only to find yourself right back where you started a few days later? If you've been there, I just want you to know you are definitely not alone. It's a really frustrating loop, but understanding why it happens is the very first step to breaking it for good.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to break down the trap itself, what we're really up against. Then we'll dive into the science of how porn actually rewires your brain. After that, we'll walk through a clear step-by-step roadmap to get you to freedom. And finally, we'll talk about the awesome future that you can start building on the other side.
Okay, so first up, let's reframe this whole thing. The struggle to quit, it isn't about you having a lack of willpower. Not at all. It's about understanding the nature of the trap you're in.
And this is maybe the most important thing you need to hear right now. This is not a moral failing. It's not a reflection of your character. Modern online porn is literally engineered to hook your brain's reward system in the most powerful way imaginable. So moving from blaming yourself to understanding the mechanism, that's the key. That's where the power shift happens.
And you know, the impact goes way beyond just the screen. It can totally warp your expectations about what real sex and intimacy are supposed to be like. It fuels this crushing cycle of shame and guilt. And for a lot of guys, it can even cause real physical problems like erectile dysfunction. But what it almost always does is push you into isolation, hiding this part of your life you feel like you just can't get a handle on.
All right, now let's dig into the science. Understanding what's actually going on inside your brain is incredibly empowering. Why? Because it shows you that this is a predictable pattern, and anything that's a pattern can be changed.
So, it all starts with this little chemical called dopamine. Now, in a healthy brain, dopamine is fantastic. It's that feeling of reward that motivates you to chase your goals, to enjoy a great meal, or to connect with people you really care about. It's basically the engine of ambition and human connection. But here's where things get hijacked. See, healthy dopamine is one thing, but porn floods the brain with a massive, unnatural surge of it, way more than you'd ever get from everyday life. And over time, your brain basically gets tired. It becomes desensitized. So you start needing more and more extreme content just to feel anything. And suddenly, normal, everyday pleasures start to feel, well, kind of dull. And this creates a really vicious cycle. It all starts with a trigger. Maybe you're feeling stressed out or lonely or maybe just bored. That leads to the urge, that craving, which leads to the action of watching porn. You get that temporary reward, that big dopamine hit. But it's always followed by the crash, the guilt. And that feeling of guilt, well, that often becomes the trigger to start the whole loop all over again.
Okay, so we've looked at the problem and the science behind it. Now for the most important part, the practical, actionable roadmap to break free. This is where you really start to take back control.
We're going to walk through 6 clear, manageable steps. And look, this isn't about trying to make one massive, heroic change overnight. That almost never works. This is about taking a series of smart, strategic actions that will lead you to lasting freedom.
First up, be brutally honest with yourself. Admit that it's a problem you want to solve. Second, become a detective and identify your triggers. When and why do you feel the urge? Third, cut off the easy access. Use website blockers, make it harder for yourself. Fourth, and this one is critical, you have to replace the habit. Find new, healthy ways to get that dopamine, like exercise, a creative hobby, or hanging out with friends. Fifth, build accountability. Secrecy is this addiction's best friend, so bring it into the light. Tell someone you trust. And finally, number 6, practice self-compassion. And this is so important to remember. You might slip up. A stumble doesn't mean you've failed. It doesn't erase all the progress you've made. It's just part of the learning process. The goal isn't to be perfect, it's just to get back up and keep moving forward. That progress, that's the real win.
So, with that in mind, let's shift our focus. Let's stop thinking so much about what you're quitting and start thinking about what you're building. This whole journey isn't just about stopping something bad. It's about starting a new, more authentic chapter of your life.
Let's just ask that question point blank. After all the hard work, rewiring your brain, building new habits, what's actually waiting for you on the other side? What does this freedom really look and feel like? Honestly, you gain so much. You get your time back. You get your mental energy back. All that focus can now go into your real-life goals. You build the ability to have deeper, more meaningful connections and real intimacy. That constant feeling of hiding and shame, it starts to disappear. And in its place, you build genuine self-respect and confidence. You literally reclaim your life.
When you boil it all down, it comes to this one powerful idea. Don't look at this as depriving yourself of something. This is an act of liberation. You're not losing a crutch, you are gaining the freedom to actually run toward the life you want, a life of real connection, real purpose, and real confidence.
So we've covered the trap, the science, and the roadmap. The only thing left now is action. You don't have to have the whole journey figured out today. You just have to decide to take that first step. So the question is, what will yours be?